Good morning. Welcome to Unset Pottery. Today I want to talk to you about the fire of God, and it is extremely hot in here, so that just seems appropriate. Behind me, a kiln just finished firing. It's at 1900 degrees, and this kiln that I'm sitting over is probably around 200 degrees, still way too hot to take anything out of it. I've been thinking a lot about the fire of God, and we ask for the fire of God if you're a Christian. At some point you've asked for the fire of God in your life, and when we think of the fire of God, I think we think a lot of healings, deliverance, the signs and wonders. But really, when fire comes to our life, it is not pleasant. Sitting over here, over this kiln at 200 degrees is a little too hot for me. But when we're right in the middle of the fire of God, it's intense. And I just walked through an intense time. I never get offended, and I did get offended. And I had to wrestle that thing, and it was like the fire of God in my life. And as I was in it, I was thinking of all the ways that I could smooth things over with this person that isn't happy with me. Put some water on that fire, put that fire out. But then I realized this is the fire of God. This is the fire of God. The reason why it's hurting me so much is because there's things that need to be burned up in my life. So I just prayed and I said, Lord, help me embrace the fire. Help me embrace the fire. I thanked him. I thanked him that for the opportunity to be laid on the altar for the sacrifice. And I know if you're watching this and you're not a Christian, it all sounds really weird. Basically, deal with all my stuff. Deal with insecurities, fear of man, the issues of always wanting to look good and maybe be right, just being okay to be like, it's okay if I don't look good and if I'm not right. Because ultimately, I want people to feel loved when they're with me. I want to be more like Jesus. So I don't want all this flesh that rises up and does things out of insecurities. So I just thanked the Lord. I thanked him for the fire. And then I was thinking, and then this morning, this kiln was ready to be emptied after a glaze firing. And I was thinking about this. I'm just going to grab something. So before a piece goes in the kiln, I glaze it. This glaze is very vulnerable to being chipped off. At this point, the clay is still porous. If I was to pour water in here, the glaze would wash off. The bowl would leak because it's still porous. It's not watertight, so it's not usable. At this point, this stage, it's not usable. I'm just gonna put my glove on here. I'll keep this so you can see the difference. So this is a fired piece, exactly the same. This has gone through the fire. This has gone through the fire once, but it hasn't gone through the fire the second time. I'm just gonna set it down. So you might be saying, I've gone through the fire, I've been through stuff. Well, sometimes there's multiple firings. And if we want to be usable, like this cup, so now this cup can be used to give somebody a drink of water. The bowl would not be able to be used. So as long as we're not usable, we're going to go back into the fire until we're usable. So do what I did, because then it's less firings. Because if I fired this kiln and I decided to turn it off halfway through, those pieces are not going to be usable. They will still need to be fired again. And it wouldn't matter how long a piece sat on my shelf that hadn't been fired, it's not going to be usable. You have to embrace the fire. There is stuff in our lives that have to be burned out, and the only way that can happen is through the fire. Oftentimes you hear that people have left churches because they've gotten offended, which is just sad, because you could take that offense and say, okay, Lord, burn up what's not of you. Nobody owes me anything. Jesus gave it all so that I could live. Jesus gave it all. It says it's no longer I, but Christ who lives in me. We are a new creation. It's no longer us, our flesh. If we want to be more like Jesus, we have a choice. We don't have to be more like Jesus, but if we want to be more like Jesus, if we want to be a vessel that can be used, we need to embrace the fire. And oftentimes I like to put the fire out, but that does no good. It's wasted. That time of going in the fire is wasted if we are cutting that period short. So embrace the fire completely, fully. Tell the Lord to burn it all up. Embrace the feelings. Give it to the Lord. He's okay with our feelings. He's okay if we cry it out. Maybe you're having issues with health, with your spouse. Just say, I embrace it all. I give it to you, Lord. Just take this sacrifice, burn it up, and trust that he will do with that what he wants to do and be okay with that. Just trust him. Just trust. Trust that the fire will do what it needs to do in your life, and don't worry about anybody else. Just think about him. Don't even worry. Just trust that the Lord is doing what he wants to do. Just surrender. Surrender. Easier said than done, but that's my advice, to surrender. Otherwise, you're just going to have to go in the fire again. And it's not fun. The fire's not fun. We think it's going to be fun, but when we get to the other side, of the fire, we are usable. I might as well show you other things that are in here. We are usable when we get to the other side. So embrace the fire.